It is super normal to be insecure, although being ambitious is very healthy. So this is for my best friend, mentor, John Connor in Australia. And this part of Top Boogie's business plan, I just stopped and was reflecting and thinking on things, clarifying things in my own mind. For example, who am I talking to here? And I thought, okay, this is me. Other world-class, international level politicians, leaders who have fought in global wars, global war on terror, finished a PhD education, have visited over half the UN nation states, countries on Earth, and who have at least lived, struggled in some of them. E.g., for example, Cambodia, America, Thailand, Iraq, Malaysia, Indonesia, etc. And then this is part of Top Wiki's spirit, order from chaos, and order from chaos. And another thing that's very important to me is all of this experience, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, has taught me that we really need leadership, and that science has no real value if it ends up just creating exotic weapons for us to destroy each other or destroy our planet that we live on. That's a little bit of an extreme statement, and that doesn't completely capture the benefits of military science, but it's my bias. And so what does science really try to do? Science is a characterization of the truth, and the scientific process is a bias on group reality. For example, Sigma 4.9, which was achieved, the thing that we're most certain about ever in the history of our species, the Higgs boson particle. And the 68, 95, 99.7, that's in a statistical analysis. So it's group reality for group gain, so versus personal reality. So there might not really be such thing as the truth, because even the symbols we're using are just characterizations of things we think we see and things we think we understand. But the scientific method or scientific process, science done by scientists, basically tries to prioritize what's the most true, what's the second most true, what's the third most true. And it's somewhat important to kind of think about that. That way we can have a common language and we can have a shared certainty about things. And yeah. Oh, another thing I was as I'm building Top Wiki's business plan to try to help my daughters and me cross the trillion US dollar net worth mark, I was thinking a lot of my best friends suffer from ADHD just as much as I do. And so I'm trying to develop systems. So if y'all would leak me back, I would really appreciate it, to where if at some point in 5 or 15 years we develop the tool to have a public stock exchange for the world that floats above the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, Mumbai Stock Exchange, the three biggest in the world, which are tiny. A global stock exchange would be at a minimum 2,000 times as powerful as each of the three biggest ones in the world. But what we could do is we'd have to be our own Security and Exchange Commission, similar to how the ICC, International Criminal Court, has no real power whatsoever, except to take down black people, ironically, in Africa, because they don't have the defenses that the Western countries have to protect their leaders against any type of prosecution whatsoever. We don't have to have it be a complete honor system. We can basically set up some sort of system where if you want to have a company on the stock exchange, you have to use social media to be transparent. Prove at least 5 or 10 hours of your day, for example, and also prove that you're reading and rereading your own business plan. And we can also do that very easily. Any amateur, any idiot in the world, including myself. For example, when politicians get attacked, have you ever read the U.S. Constitution? They could just make a video of themselves reading the US Constitution, slowly, word for word. Or if people, for example, get attacked, like, you didn't really write that book, somebody else wrote it for you, there's a really easy way for them to prove, hey, actually, I wrote every single word of this book. I read every single word of the Constitution. This is exactly how I spent this part of my day. So I have about 20 ideas in how, for example, Aurelius longevity therapies and innovative aerospace solutions, how we can basically hold people accountable in more fundamentally important ways than the US's Security and Exchange Commission can hold people accountable in a way that matters. For example, if people don't do it, the stock value goes down because there's a loss of confidence in the leader. Nobody really knows what they're doing, what they're thinking, if they are rereading and rereading and rereading what they wrote and perfecting it over time, or if they're out surfing or climbing a mountain or whatever. So it's just some of my thoughts. And also, we need to think about transaction cost and opportunity cost. How do we do it in a way where it's easy for us to validate as a group what other people are doing with their companies on that stock exchange? So I really view that as the mechanism to create TopWiki into the first $1 trillion company, to create a family net worth of $1 trillion, as Apple Computer right now is the most successful company on earth with 1.9 trillion market capitalization. But if TopWiki builds the stock exchange for itself to become public and takes 3 or 4 or 5 other businesses along with it before it maybe acts as the stock exchange for potentially hundreds of other businesses, that would be a very fundamental, obvious, good thing that would help the world, the global goals, the global community, world peace, climate action, etc., etc., etc.